welcome to the Board Game Design Variety Hour. I'm your host, Matthew Dunstan, here on January the 1st, 2021. Happy New Year, everyone. Huzzah, huzzah. We've got Rob's here. Hey, Rob. How you going? The numbers. Yeah. And hey, Robin, how you going? Welcome. I guess it's the first time maybe watching the stream live. If you don't know, Robin is a fantastic game designer based in Denmark. You're still based in Denmark, right, Robin? Yeah, so lovely chap. Hey, Michael, how are you going? Happy New Year. Hey, Bram, how are you going? Yeah, so yeah, well, Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a good celebration. We had a fairly quiet. I mean, we're still under kind of lockdown things here, so just stayed indoors. Nothing too rowdy. A little bit of bubbly and. Skype my parents in Australia, which it sort of always works out like things about midnight here is early in the morning, and not early in the morning, so mid-morning in Australia. So that works out pretty well. So that was nice, and just sort of calling people. And here in Prague, fireworks are legal, even though I think technically there was a curfew from 9 p.m. But that I think to stop people going out and letting off firework. Oh, thanks very much, Bram. Yeah, I'm not sure if people can see that. It's hard to get good material science puns on shirts. As a material scientist myself, I like to keep that going. But yeah, so you can actually walk along Prague, and there's sort of a hill near where we live, and you can just look across the city. It's really nice, actually, the old city, and you can just see all the fire. It was a very clear evening, so you could just see fireworks popping up, all across the sort of horizon. And even in our apartment, we can look out the window at midnight and see people, fireworks above the apartment blocks and things like that. So it was nice. So I hope wherever all of you are, you had a good celebration. Did anyone let off any fireworks? Were they able to? I don't know. I'm so used to being Australian. I have never lit a firework in my life. They've been illegal, I think, in Australia for the whole time they've been alive. So they've had a chance. Hey, Alex, how are you going? Happy New Year. Yeah, so, and we had some fancy pizza, which was nice. It was the most gigantic. We made a slight mistake with ordering from a new place, and we got the large pizza, which turned out to be the largest pizza the two of us have ever seen. And we had two of them. There was I think they were like 45 centimeters large or something. So we'll be eating pizza for a few days to come. But yeah, well, what did everyone else get up to? Any fun sort of exploits? We've already played some games today, which was nice, actually. We we'll be playing a bit of Bruges recently, so played about 4 times the last few days. We've had a couple of games already today, which is good. It's a really nice Stefan Feld game, actually. I think actually kind of impossible to get now, unfortunately. Although if you're interested, Queen Games had a Kickstarter recently for the new. They've kind of re-implemented it. I think it's called Hamburg now. Yeah, so Rob says they were letting off fireworks until 1:30. Wow, okay. I don't think people weren't that crazy here. Maybe it's a bit different in the city, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. And there were loads of fireworks in Denmark, okay, but we stayed in with the doggo. Yeah. It definitely was. I've walked around. I've been in Prague a few times over the years, but I remember one time, it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where we went outside around midnight to kind of see, and it feels a bit scary because people are just letting off fireworks anywhere, and you hope that they're not going to fire them at your face or something like that. Now, yeah. Michael played Hades and beat it for the first time and watched the Austin Powers movie. Oh, wow. So very thrilling and exciting evening there. Congratulations on the Hades. I saw. Yeah, it's been recommended on stream before, but it's still not quite the genre of game I like. This kind of like fighting thing, but I should really try it. So yeah, but congratulations. That's a good way to start or end 2020 on a positive note. Yeah, so a pretty relaxed kind of stream I think today. I haven't no PowerPoint presentations ready, but I thought, well, I mean, obviously it's a bit of the time for New Year's resolutions and things like that, or not really resolutions, but I thought I'd sort of take a look forward into 2021, talk about maybe a bit of like goals in game design, my own goals and things like that. If that would be interesting, and maybe we can share goals and yeah, if you yourself have game design goals for 2021 and you're happy to share them, feel free, and we can chat about them. And yeah, Alex says people set off fireworks in the streets. Sometimes in our local, strangely pagan winter festivals that lose bonfire night. Okay, wow, okay, interesting. They have to shutter the houses and close this train station and anything. Wow, okay, that's very. Yeah, I don't remember in Cambridge bonfire night ever being too rowdy. In fact, I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't remember anything but the like kind of official council fireworks or anything like that. Robin has set 21 goals for this year, no resolutions. Have you written them down? Have you what sort of things are they all game design related, or are they like kind of general life goals or things like that? Oh, not all design related. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know if I would get to 21. I've got like some vague categories, and I'm not sure if I would normally set goals. Actually, I mean, like formally, I don't keep a list or anything of goals, but I suppose I have things in my head. And for the purpose of the stream, I'd probably be thinking about it more than I would normally. But we can explore that together. Yeah. So Lose is a weird case. Half the country wants to go there on bonfire night, so unsurprising, they have to shut down the town. Okay. Oh, interesting. This is, does it have some historical significance that I'm not aware of? That why everybody wants to, you know, yeah, that why everyone wants to go there. I wasn't aware of it. Alex, the only thing I've said is to try and playtest something every week. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a great goal. I think that's yeah, hoping that puts you on a good path. I think that's definitely will put you on a good path. Obviously there's some constraints. Do you have like a plan, like how to do that kind of virtually, I guess, or however it might be possible. But yeah, that's a really good way to, yeah, to go forward with game design. I mean, that's how really like in my formative years in the early sort of days of the Cambridge playtest group, that was what kept me going. You know, we'd meet once a week and you'd always be playtesting. So you had to get something ready to the table, and there were only 4 of us. So, you know, if you didn't have anything, then, you know, maybe nobody had anything to play. So yeah, it's a powerful motivator, certainly. Robin, talking about goals, written down and measurable. Goals are great because I love achieving ticking off a list. So I assume you do this every year. This is a regular thing to you, Robin. It sounds really good. Have you got a game design one that you share with the group if you're interested? Alex says, yeah, there's a few virtual places a group I'm following, and I have a couple of friend groups really early stuff. Yeah, you always need you need that kind of initial group that you're happy that you really can put anything in front of, even if it's just completely terrible. Because I sort of struggle with I don't like self playtesting that much. In the process, I get a lot more out of playtesting with somebody else, even if the game just completely fails. I still find out more successful doing it with somebody else. Or maybe it's just kind of a social thing. Like, it's not much fun trying to get something to work by yourself when it's terrible. At least when you're doing it with someone else, there's a bit of fun talking to somebody else while you're doing it. Yeah, so it's good to have some groups that are able to do that. Michael doesn't have any resolutions. It doesn't have any resolutions, in fact. But certainly wants to keep designing and developing stuff on stream. Oh, and do an IdleCon too in summer. Yeah, so, well, I mean, maybe this is a good time to talk about IdleCon, because I was amazingly impressed. Alex also loves IdleCon. And we've got already, and Robin's talking about one goal inspired by IdleCon is to design an X and write. IdleCon was really impressive, Michael. Like, so for those who don't know, Michael Fox, Idle Michael in the chat, ran a game jam, a board game. It was kind of a virtual game jam through his stream and Discord. It was called IdleCon. It ran kind of for a few days, or kind of 2.5 days between Christmas and New Year's. It was a fantastic event. I only dropped in kind of very kind of briefly over the days. I wasn't like really. In retrospect, and I guess I'll get to that a little bit. I will like to be a bit more involved, or like think about being a bit more involved. And actually, I was sort of thinking it'd be cool. Maybe I'll also try and stream on IdleCon. I don't know how. I don't want to go at the same time as Michael, but I kind of like. I'd like, maybe it could be cool to have, many people streaming at the same time or at different times over the days, all within that kind of same game jam kind of feeling, because I think that could kind of be cool. Like, people could tune in at any time and there'd be somebody streaming. But yeah, I thought that, developing. And so for those who don't know, Michael was on the first day kind of developing his own game or designing his own game for the jam. And then on the second day was sort of showcasing designs that have been part of the jam. So playing them on stream, and showing them off, and people sharing things on Discord, and they'd found new collaborators and things like that. Yeah, it was really fantastic. So huge congratulations to you, Michael. I am very much in awe of what you do, and just actually the kind of stamina of I don't know how long you were streaming on those 2 days, but that's a lot to take on and to play, and yeah. So no, that was, and I really enjoyed watching, and there were a couple of really interesting games that I saw in my time that I looked at. So yeah, it was really impressive, and I was going to share that there's a thread which Michael put on Twitter. I'm trying to share kind of a sort of a summary of IdleCon. I'm sure a lot of people watching have seen this, and looking at the various designs, kind of showing things off, which I think is really great. So who knows? It would be great to sort of hear, I guess, what happens, what comes out of IdleCon, or how the games sort of progress. Yeah, so I was really impressed, and actually I was sort of thinking, because there's a sort of slight joining part to that was that also over the last week, Arnold Rowers of Tiny Touch Tales, which I sort of talked to before, he had his stream looking back at his year, and I was sort of interested by in the virtual world how normal it is to have these game jams, and then you make something and you host it, it goes onto a site and then it's kind of available forever, and maybe you go back to it later, maybe you don't. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I myself don't work that way in the tabletop space, and I might be nice to kind of try and participate in more game jams, and also to try and get to something playable that's kind of complete, and be happy whether that goes forward or not. To kind of try and approach that kind of style of thing, because I think quite a few of these games do that exactly. They are complete, they are playable, and they can be hosted, for forever. Which I think is a really cool kind of goal. It's a real kind of tangible thing to kind of finish with. That was really interesting. So the kind of idea about having more game jams, and I'd certainly be interested in. I mean, maybe I don't know how. Yeah, as Michael's saying, to have one in the summer. Maybe we can even have something shorter and sweeter, a little bit more regularly. But I found that quite useful. So yeah, thanks very much, Michael. Just finding if I've missed anything in the chat. Robin has some goals related to polishing up some designs for 2019. Yeah, that's I put together all my kind of like looking back on 2020 in the last stream, and that's made me realize I have this huge list of games which need to be finished off. So yeah, Rob's trying to think through some goals objectives at the moment. They'll probably be pretty loose, more about a direction of travel than anything smart. And yeah, I guess SMART is that kind of it's someone's going to have to remind me what SMART. It's an acronym for it's like measurable, specific, measurable. Yeah, I'm missing the last 3 letters. Yeah, just having a look. Highlight of the year. IdleCon was highlight of the year from Rob. Oh, that's really kind of you. Yeah, that's great. No, you should hear that, Michael. It was really great. Alex talking about IdleCon. I really love the format because everyone got a decent playtest with participants, with Michael at the helm facilitating some great stuff. Yeah, actually, that kind of that shared playtesting. I guess it is one thing about roll and write games and things like that allows that kind of soloable playtest, and maybe I guess making sure that something's always soloable enables that. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of think about, or to hear your thoughts, Michael, about whether you want to keep that kind of format, because obviously it works really well for stream, and to be able to people to participate in the games and easily kind of play them and try them out. But of course, you're only going to make certain types of games by doing that. You're streaming for 5 hours on days 1 and 2, then another 2.5 on day 3. Wow, yeah. So like over 12 hours over 3 days is quite incredible. Yeah, it's really quite a feat. Yeah, definitely not an idle event. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Robert. Specific, yeah, so SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Yes, so I can maybe think about those in relation to what I'll talk about. The only other thing I was going to kind of highlight before we get into kind of the meat of the day was Ross, the ever excellent More Games Please Ross, had a really cool Twitter thread talking about self-promotion. It's something I kind of I think we all probably struggle with a little bit, like how do you you know, I don't particularly like talking about myself or continually, well, he says, while hosting his own stream. So take that with a grain of salt. But, you know, on social media, I don't necessarily like constantly bombarding people about, you know, oh, buy my game, or this is my game, or this is what I'm doing. Yeah, certainly not my strength. But Ross has always been a great, you know, proponent for you know, like being okay with self-promotion and you know, improving yourself and just giving things a go. And this was a really nice Twitter thread where, you know, he sort of encouraged people to kind of share what they're working on to sort of promote their own work. And I've already, you know, followed some new people in this thread, so would recommend checking out that from Ross if you're kind of interested in finding, maybe you'll find some other, you know, game design people on Twitter that might be worth following, or even people sort of outside game designer. Yeah, it was a really, really great thread. So yeah, huge thank. I mean, Ross is, you know, an amazing guy, and also was successful with his fundraiser. So that's also really, really great. Yeah. So well, I'll try and be. We have a banner. I'm somewhat prepared. Excellent. So yeah, I mean, I guess it is, of course, a timely time to talk about design goals for the year, and you know, a good follow-up, looking back, you know, looking back at 2020 and seeing what happened there. And yeah, so I've got a few notes about things that for me that are goals that I'm sort of trying to think about, and maybe they'll resonate with you, the viewer, or you know, and again, like keep sharing what you're kind of thinking about for the year as you think about it. As always, any questions about any random topics, always welcome. Throw them in the chat. Yeah, so I guess the first thing for me is like thinking about streaming, actually, because that's something that's very much on my mind at the moment. Of course, it's on my mind right now. And I just thinking about how I want to fit into my life, I guess. I've really enjoyed this level of streaming. And for me, I think one goal is to really set aside some time to think about what I want out of streaming and what I want my stream to be, and how, you know, how I want either that to grow or change, or to decide that I'm happy with how it is. So it's just not necessarily a specific goal of what I want to change it into. I think it's a goal to actually really set aside some time and think about it. You know, I've seen, you know, it'd be great to, I mean, you know, actually maybe we can have a panel or a chat sometimes. Maybe I can get Michael and, you know, Bez, for example, and other people who are streaming. It'd be great to, I mean, maybe it's a little bit meta to have a stream about streaming, but I think, especially now, I think you know, it feels like a great community is coming up around board gaming and board game design, and actually encouraging even more people to get involved in streaming might be great. You know, it doesn't have to be much for everybody. Maybe also Theo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I definitely have to have Theo on the stream anyway. I mean, I just like chatting with Theo generally. So yeah, I would really like to. It'd be just interesting to chat and interesting to kind of talk about, because I think it is a relatively new kind of like sphere within you know, Twitch. I mean, I don't know that many board game designers on Twitch, and I know it's growing, and I think it can keep growing actually, as hopefully like my fairly low tech approach can show that it's, you know, that anybody can hopefully give it a go, and maybe kind of talking about that in a kind of public forum might help more people to join, which I think helps everyone and kind of grows that community, which, you know, I found very, very valuable. So yeah, I kind of, for myself, yeah, it would be listening to other people, you know, talking to other people, getting advice. One thing I've been thinking about is, and I've said it before, is whether I want to start streaming on Wednesdays, but actually Wednesday morning. I'd like to try and kind of connect with a slightly different time zone, and trying to connect with some like folks in Australia if possible, because yeah, there's a great stream community, not on the design, but in board games. There's, you know, Ella loves board games, and Stella, you know, excellent streamers, and it would be nice to kind of, you know, be streaming at a time where people in Australia could possibly watch it. So, and because I'm already streaming Monday, Friday, it feels like Wednesday is sort of a natural thing. Theo, for example, has a really cool kind of like coffee morning stream, 1 hour, which I kind of like the format of. So that's something I might try it from next week. I'm not sure. Alex says, Mark from Tabletop. Is he streaming? Is this Mark from Tabletopia streaming? Do you have his and Ludo Cherry? Yeah, drop their usernames in the chat, and we can all follow them, and yeah, it would be good to know what's going on. But yeah, so I think that's one thing about whether I want to do a bit more streaming, also about like what I'm streaming, and for me, it has sort of started coming to me. I think I've got thanks to quite a few viewers who have given me lots of really nice feedback about the stream. I'm always welcome feedback and negative feedback or constructive feedback. Thanks very much for that, Alex. Yeah, I will check that out. And yeah, I think really focusing on just giving an insight into kind of the workings of being a professional game designer and the various things that you do. I guess I haven't really been doing like designing on stream, and that's a bit of an open question for me. Like, I think Michael does a great job of showing the design process, like directly his design process on stream. If that's interesting to people, do let me know. I'm happy to sort of try it. Yeah, it's funny for me. I guess I don't know what's useful or what's kind of relatable, because for me, I find that obviously it's a very personal thing about struggling with a design, and I don't know how much of that is sort of translatable, or how much other people viewing that, somebody working on their game, like I tend to internalize my own design, so that and if I'm looking at someone else's design, I don't really know what they're struggling with, or that kind of thought process, and even if they're kind of showing it off, I don't know how kind of transferable that is. So that's a bit of an open question, and something I'd like to sort of think about. And yeah, I mean, it's just, but I think sort of content, I still, I have a lot of kind of cool ideas. I very well organized on my, old prototype cards, which I still use as sort of post-it notes. So, I was sort of thinking about, doing deep dives into, some of my designs, my old design, my releases, like one release in a stream, to kind of look, the whole design process, the pitching, how did the publishing like part go, and the release, and even kind of like a post-mortem, like how was it received, and that sort of thing. So I'd like to do that for old designs. What are some other things? I'd like to, so there was some interest in me answering some of the Design 100 questions, so I can answer them. So maybe that will be a recurring segment of, Matthew answers one of the Design 100 questions early on a stream, so that could be quite cool. Oh yeah, Alex says, actually, it's a good point. I didn't mention Frank West. He did do a really interesting, and what I liked about Frank actually was that I think he had a really good mix of, very hands-on, like he was trying to design a game, but at the same time, it felt like he was stepping kind of conceptually through it as well. So, he really was starting with kind of bigger pictures, thinking about, even genre and goals for the game. And I liked his format, actually. It's a pity. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him stream recently. I'm not sure if he's still going to be doing it or not. But I did enjoy what he was doing for the time that he was. So that was good. What was I? Yeah, I mean, this is where I can't find notes. Sen Fong Lim did a kind of cool Facebook Live video of him clearing out his old prototypes and reminiscing, and I thought I don't know if I have many of my old prototypes, actually. I've moved enough times that I've had to kind of cull them already, but that could be a fun time to look back on. A bit similar to looking back in the old digital files and sort of going on old games. But that's fun, and I think that's about. Those are the kind of notes I've got. But yeah, so I've got ideas, and we'll see kind of where that goes. Hey Ross, how you going? Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you got to see a bit of Articon. Yeah, I think it was super well organized, and I'd love to see it be even bigger. And if I can help out or be part of it, that would be really cool. Really impressed with what Michael's done for that. So that was really, really cool. Congrats on your fundraiser. Congrats for getting the goal. That's it's amazing what you've done, really. So thank you, Ross, on behalf of all of us. So I'm chatting about design goals or goals for 2021? Ross, do you have some goals for 2021? Have you been thinking about what you want to do with your streaming or otherwise things in the game industry? The other thing to do for me with streaming is just to make it maybe a slight step up in terms of professionalism. I will probably look at other things other than StreamYard. I feel like maybe it's the point where I can, look at some slightly more sophisticated software. I'm not sure if that would be useful, and that will be where I'll probably reach out to other folk and sort of ask their experiences, and yes, work on some graphics, which I said before that I'll do. But and that's connected with one of my big goals is to update my website, essentially, which is currently non-existent, basically, for my game design. But as I will be going, well, and I said, I'm not sure if it's in the last stream, but hopefully this year I'm going fully part-time on game design. So definitely, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Officially part-time game design, and I'm going officially down to part-time in my other job. So hopefully I'll have more time to devote to kind of, I guess there are some aspects of the kind of the professional side of game design, or things like having a website, which I think is important if you're essentially a freelancer, which I also always put off because I was like, oh, I don't have time and I barely have enough time to be doing the actual design. But now, as I see it as more of a job, that's something I definitely want to get done this year, essentially. So I think when I'd kind of like to put all the graphics together to make it all look kind of homogenous between the streams and the website, so that job is kind of all put together. It seems like a really big thing in my mind, and that's the reason I've put it off until now. But I think I really just need to bite my tongue and just get to it. So that's a bit of a goal for me. I think like Michael has a great aesthetic for his stream. Ross, I love your straight, like your your avatar kind of face, and I love how that all fits into what you've been doing. I have like zero graphic talent, as can be seen from my title slides and things like that. But I'd like to kind of I will talk with my brother, who's a graphic designer, and do something for that. So yeah, so that's a big goal, to get a new website and new graphics for the stream and that sort of thing, and have more stuff, I guess, for the actual stream landing page, because it's kind of useful for people to be able to see a little bit more information about what's going on with the stream, where you can find the old videos on YouTube, things like that. So on to kind of more game designy kind of goals. Yeah, so I mean, for the last stream, obviously there's a bunch of designs that I'd like to finish off and to get to a point to pitch. They're not really goals, I guess, because it feels like that's more in the normal state of design. I wouldn't say that's necessarily like a specific goal. It's just generally this is the time where you you take a step back and sort of go like, oh, what are these projects? Do I want to keep working on them? And that sort of thing. He said, how you going? It's Mount Dunstan. Yeah, I made a joke on Theo's stream in French. I've taken to essentially like Google translating my comments. And the kind of joke, which is not so much known in the English community, but like Bruno Cathala everywhere in France, like all his usernames are like Bruno from the mountains, because he lives in the mountains. But I was joking because sometimes early on when I'd pop up on streams or in comments and things, because of my username looks like Mountain Dunstan, so I was like, oh, there's a new designer from the mountains, yeah. Yeah, nice to see you, Zach. Thanks for dropping by. Alex says, I run a few WordPress sites, and even with the framework, you can become a bit of a rabbit hole. Yeah, I think that's what I'm a little bit concerned about. I had a really positive experience with Design 100, so that was also done by my brother, and who I paid for the job. It was a professional contract, although he probably gave me slightly better rates because we are related. But no, but that was really good. And actually, for me, a little bit is trying to work out, what do you put on your website? Obviously, I want kind of a portfolio, but I'm also not just a game designer in a way. Like I'm kind of, I'd like to try and sell a little bit the kind of connection I have between games and science. I've done some projects that combine the two. I think it's a really cool kind of area, and I'm well placed to do exactly that. So it's how do you kind of communicate that through obviously showing off projects you've done, but also kind of talking about a little bit like who you are and what you do. So yeah, who knows? Maybe that will be a particular stream where I look at kind of website designs. I look at websites I love. Like, for example, I love Brett's excuse me, sorry. Brett's website is amazing. I mean, Brett's an amazing like graphic designer and web designer. In fact, I think he's done. He definitely did this website himself. But I love it for the kind of like just really clean simplicity. I'm just trying to share it here. I can't see myself anymore. Yeah, like if you haven't seen this, this is 55cards.com. Yeah, Brett was also very good at getting like 55 cards for all the kind of like different things. And so he has, I think you can click on, oh, okay. So that maybe that's kind of like a landing page. But yeah, if you go to portfolio, then he has this great like tiling, kind of responsive tiling. And then you can click on a particular game, Chocolate Factory, for example, you know, have a bit of a description, links to, you know, it on Board Game Geek if you want to check it out there. No, so like I just think it's a really impressive way to kind of, like, I love the look of it. I love the simplicity of it. You know, obviously with board games, you have the great thing, there's great art. And so it's very visual and you can kind of show that off. I think in other, where there is like product photography, he puts that in as well. Whoops, I didn't mean to, yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing I would, you know, I don't want to necessarily copy that, but it also kind of, you know, he doesn't have many other things outside of that. And obviously I'd want to link to the stream and you know, I'm still on Twitter, for example. And so there's like a few other things and yeah, I'm not just a game designer or rather I have a sort of broader remit or ideas. So anyway, that's one inspiration for me when I'm sort of thinking about it. Robin, I saw as you go semi-pro, do you feel the need to brand yourself? Does that work when co-designing with different people? Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know who was talking about brand. Like, yeah, I'll have to get Bruno on actually to talk about branding sometime. He's the designer I most think about that I've chatted about things like branding. I don't know how important it is. Like, I think it's something you can very much take as you want. Like, if you want to go into that, I think it can have benefits, certainly. I think more people connecting a designer across different games and you know, that kind of name recognition, I think can help. It can certainly help in terms of people connecting games and saying like, oh, I really like this game from this designer. Oh, did you know they also designed X, Y, and Z? And maybe then that means they'll discover X, Y, and Z and look back at the old games. You know, having that idea of a catalog or some continuity with games. I mean, some of the tricky thing is that it also depends how similar your games are, because like your brand is not as important if you're not very consistent, because, you know, like if, like Reiner Knizia, for example, very consistent. If you tend to like a few Reiner Knizia games, you'll tend to like other Reiner Knizia games. But Vlada Shuttle, for example, I think is the other direction. You know, like if you like code names, that doesn't mean you're going to like Mage Knight the board game, for example. He designs lots of different styles of games, and I'm probably closer to that than someone like you know, like Stefan Felder, yeah, or Reiner Knizia, you know, who have a very clearly defined style, yeah, as I like to say. So yeah, I think branding helps more in that case, but I think branding generally is quite important. And I mean, the reality of it is that oh, actually, I will also link another kind of interesting thing I looked at is Bruno he always writes a kind of like summary of his year as a designer on Trick Track, which I always thought was kind of interesting because, like, I don't know if Board Game Geek would allow, like, in news, like one designer to like have their own, you know, like put in the news their own kind of like personal reflections for the year. But anyway, I mean, that's fine. And it's always an interesting read. Obviously, it's in French, but you can Google translate it, and I'll put it in the chat. That looks a bit strange, but yeah, it doesn't look like a very good link, does it? But it goes to the right thing. And I'll just put it here so people can see it. So this is, oh yeah, and I'll kind of put it in French, I guess, English. The messed up year. So he goes over his design, you know, things that came out in the year. You know, it's a light year for Bruno, only like 10 releases or something. But you know, it's interesting. But he really does talk about how they do in terms of sales and success or not. And one of the things he was talking about is the, you know, the increased risk of new releases that don't have a big audience. And I think branding has a point with that, in that if you brand yourself, maybe there's more chance that you can kind of be present, say, in different, like, on podcasts or on different interviews, or like, as your name goes out there, hopefully the names of your games go out there a little bit more. That's like just a little bit more advertising. That can only help, probably. I mean, I always find it a bit hard to really specifically know, how much impact it's having, like doing one interview, how much is it really moving the needle? But I think it's just overall. So yeah, the branding thing is an interesting discussion. But I don't think it's as important ultimately as the games. Like, it's better to make better games and spend time doing that. But yeah, I think if you are kind of going professional, it is a job. I think it is a reasonable thing to spend at least a little bit of time. And I think having like a good website I feel like that's like a minimum bound to make sure you have, because that's going to be one of the ways people find you and that they're first interacting with you. So getting that right, just, I guess any kind of social media platforms, like having that kind of all consistent and making sure they kind of link to each other and people can get information that is important at a glance and things like that. So that's my kind of vague thinking about it, I guess. Hey Jay, how you going? Welcome. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. If you joined the stream a little bit later. Michael says, I need a cool nickname, something like Sweet Boy. Yes, I haven't. Brett always used to joke, you've got to have a not a moniker. You've got to have a thing. Like Reiner Knizia has bow ties, and Friedman Fries has green, and Michael has the international Sweet Boy. Mount Dunstan isn't cool enough. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to admit, there is a little bit inside me that wishes I hadn't used that as my username, and I feel like I can't change it now. It's also one of these things. It's not, my usernames are just like not consistent across platforms, which I'm not sure if that's Matthew the Mountain Dunstan. Yes, I'm not really sure. Alex says, personal branding for designers has a fair amount of influence within the early adopters, i.e. people who listen to board game podcasts, etc. That is true, and I think that is becoming more and more important. I think you can't ignore that anymore. That there are, it's not necessarily that there's only one or two, but there are people in the kind of like that, who are really deeply invested in the board game community, and they can really help a design to get even recognized or like discovered by other people in that sphere. And having that kind of name recognition can help. And it also helps people to kind of always be like looking out and waiting for those designers and to know that they're going to play them and try and review them and things like that. I hope to think I have a little bit of that. But yeah, and it was interesting because I think the original question for Robin was like, how does that work with co-designing? It is a funny thing. I try when I get interviewed to always make sure that people know that I work, like I'm not the only designer of Elysium, for example. Like that was a co-design with Brett. But it is just funny how things get simplified, really, I think, most of the time. And in most of the cases, I think to benefit of both parties, like whoever you're talking about gets attributed. But, you're not necessarily sharing the thing. So, yeah, anyway, but it's an interesting, maybe that's a topic for another time to think about branding. Or maybe as I sort of look at this, my rebranding of my website, etc. Or I need a cool little avatar or something, but I haven't worked out, I guess. Groot. What is this? I could be worse. I made Oma Groot my Facebook name as a joke. It's so bad. I see. Oma. Yeah. It's funny you make these decisions like a really long time ago. Like I'm Wise Goldfish on Twitter. I got on Twitter actually a very long time before I really started using it much. And now that's stuck. Maybe it'd be good if I was Wise Goldfish everywhere, but of course, that was not the way I thought about setting these up. I set up Twitch like way before I started using Twitch, so I wasn't like setting it up intentionally for something. It's because at the same time I felt old because my body hurt so much. I was sharing selfies in the form of pics of trees that clued people to how I am rather than just saying, "Oh, okay, yeah." Well, it's I guess it sounds like there was this more of a connection with sort of trees and things, or if I'm reading into correctly. But it's funny how we make these decisions, and it's hard to. Yeah, you're kind of stuck with them, I guess. But hopefully it's positive. Hopefully it has a good connection for you or for whatever way you chose it in the first place. So enough with the branding, I guess. But yeah, that is something I know, and it's something I don't like. So that's why I feel like naming it as a goal might help me actually do something about it. I think for me, in terms of actual design goals, inspired a little bit by Arnold's stream, is really to get Card Crawl Adventures, which is this digital co-design with Arnold, released this year. I think it's going to be, he's really invested in it, and that made me more excited. And I think really making that a focus to know that I'm putting in the effort to support him. It's always a little bit strange because he's doing the programming and I'm kind of helping with the game design. I always feel like he's doing more work with the actual programming, but he seems to be happy how it's going so far, so I can't be doing too badly. But I think, really trying to make that a priority for me, and because also it kind of is a bit different to a normal release of board game. It's much more, you're responsible for actually releasing it, and so it's a different thing. When you sign a game with the publisher, it's not that you don't do any more work, but the kind of responsibility shifts to the publisher doing the work to release the game. But for independent digital designer, you're the one who's releasing the game. So anyway, that for me is a bit of a goal to make sure that game can be the best it can be, and to kind of assign the right amount of time to make it great, because I think it can be a really great game. So I'm sort of excited about that. Roman says, I'm UK Dane most places, but that name was taken on Twitter, so I went with my name, and now I have to change elsewhere, otherwise people don't know it's me. Yeah, it's just funny, isn't it? I guess that's why having a good moniker that is unique enough, but unfortunately, we're not robots. We're not set up to be businesses or brands, and we, it's all kind of organic. I think, that's just the way it goes. It's tricky. The other kind of main thing as a design goal for me is there is a particular game which I will probably share on stream. Basically, I've been working on a game based around flavor of food and combining different flavors. So, and actually, it's really connected with the science behind why certain flavors go with each other. I actually worked as a food scientist for a little bit earlier in my career. So I'm working on a sort of a card game based around combining cards with the different flavor compounds and how they combine, and in a kind of but in a card combo kind of way. Hopefully, I'm hoping it to be kind of a follow up to something like Elysium, that kind of same sort of weight. Special card games. I haven't really done a lot of them recently, and they're kind of game I really enjoy. This game, why it's really a goal for me is that I remember really specifically 1 year ago when I was back in Australia having some really good ideas about how to progress the game, some mechanics, what I wanted to do, and I just didn't do anything about it this year. For whatever reason, I didn't start on it. I had a couple of other good, it wasn't like I wasn't working on games, but for some reason, I just didn't get around to starting it, and I didn't make any progress on it in 2020. And I think the theme is really good. I think people like food. It's something very approachable, but it has a really cool connection to something. I don't want to say educational, but it's connected to something real and something interesting, which I think people might find interesting. Hey David, how are you going? No worries. Hope the Wi-Fi is okay. Happy New Year. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about goals for the year. Have you got any goals for the year, David? You've been talking. What do you want to get done with game design? That's a goal. Oh yeah, about my goal. Yeah. Oh yes, I want to get out my Definitely Not Animal Crossing game. Yeah, I remember reading the rules, and it'd be cool to try it sometime. Maybe we can play it on. Maybe we can play test it on stream or sometime if you're interested. Yeah, so for me, I've already started the last week trying to write a bit of a design document to kind of get me into the design again. For me, I'm a little bit stuck at the point where I know I just have to make 40 cards, and I kind of want them to be interesting enough because that's the game. That's going to tell whether the game is interesting enough. But I just need to get into it. It's easy for me to give the advice about people, just make 20 cards and just play it. But I don't always follow my own advice. So I just need to do that with this game. So that's definitely a goal for this year to make a start. I'm not saying straight I'll finish it, but I have a good. It's also a game where I know where I want to go with it. Not all games are like that. Sometimes you sort of start with a bit of a mechanism, and you're like, oh, let's see what happens with that mechanism. Let's try this or that. But this one, I know where I want to go. So it might take longer because the first thing I do might not work, but I need to start down that path. So David has a goal to sign an original game design with a publisher. that is a fantastic goal. I hope that will work out. Do you have some? How close are you to kind of? Do you have like lots of finished games, and it's just really a case of actually signing it, or is that also including kind of development or things like that? But yeah, good luck with that, and yeah, fantastic goal. Yeah, and I guess the slightly more amorphous thing is to try and work out, and sort of related to game design becoming a bit more like a job, is to work out how I can treat it a bit more like a job. And I've always sort of been, it's a little bit, you read like writers talking about writing, and part of it is that you have to learn, or whether you learn or you just do it, to write even when you don't feel like you want to write, or when you're not being inspired. And I think it obviously has it always fits with game design as well, right? Sometimes you have to work on games even if you don't really feel like it, or you don't really feel like the creative juices are flowing. You have to find a way to kind of work at it like a profession, like a job. And it's something I'm still not necessarily fantastic at. I think with certain tasks like prototyping or like kind of iterating designs, I'm not too bad at sort of going down, okay, I've just got to do it, sit down and do it. But I think it's more for games where at that early stage of, I have a good idea, and it's not even necessarily that I don't know what the mechanisms are going to be, but it's just sitting down and doing that job of kind of going through that first, kind of the first loop, I guess, which includes like designing the first prototype, making it, playtesting it, thinking about it. Like going through that first playtest loop needs to become a little bit more rigorous, or something that I can expect myself to do, and with sort of more regularity, because I think right now it's a bit, it's left a little bit up to chance. And I think there are lots of good, I have no problems with having enough ideas, or having publishers to pitch to, or even having publishers coming to me with games they would like to see me to design. And I kind of want to make the most of those opportunities, but that requires a certain degree of kind of professionalism and sort of rigorousness to like just sit down and go like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do, I gotta try it. It's not to say that it's not going to always produce a game, but I need to go through that process to see whether there's a game or not. So yeah, that's something I'd like to get better. If anyone has good recommendations or things that they've read, I mean, I'm always kind of interested in it. Really, for me, like I know in research I tried Pomodoro technique quite a bit. Kind of 25 minutes working, then 5 minutes off. Maybe I should try something like that. I have to admit, the kind of constantly working from home does make it a little bit tricky. And maybe I need to be thinking about having different zones of the house, even just kind of to trick your mind and thinking, okay, I'm in my kind of leisure zone, I'm in my work zone. So even just like where you're sitting starts to kind of put you in the right mode. Because obviously before I could go into an office in the lab, and that was somewhere I'd work. Although, of course, that was a bit messy because I'd also sometimes have to be answering emails about games or things like that when I was supposed to be doing science. So yeah, it's that for me is it. I'm not sure if it's a really good goal because it's not very specific. I mean, I know what I want to get better at. I know where I can set out a list of things I want to do in the week and make a serious attempt at doing them, essentially, and not to kind of wait until lightning strikes. Dave says reckons he's got about 3 pitchable. Oh, great. And 2 that aren't too far off with work, and a half dozen on the drawing board. Okay, well, that sounds like a really good way to enter the new year and pitch it. And you've started emailing people to pitch. I mean, that's actually another goal for me, is to be more proactive in terms of pitching games. Given the kind of uncertainty about conventions and the fact that obviously Essen didn't happen last year, and Nuremberg won't be happening at the same time this year. Normally it would be the end of January. So those, and Cannes, as far as I know, probably won't be happening. I probably won't be traveling to it. These would all be opportunities to pitch, and they're not happening. So I need to be a bit better at being proactive, and I have games that I can pitch right now. So I think I need to kind of reinvigorate those kind of connections and get used to like pitching over email or like setting up meetings to pitch and things like that. So that's definitely a goal for me. There seems to be a lot of tree lot of tree-based jokes. I can't say I've completely followed, but I hope everyone's having fun. I'll just assume that everything is fine and that everyone's behaving themselves. Yeah. No problems with the tree chat. Enjoy. I have, I'm glad that is going well. Yeah. What is the other thing? I think I've covered that. Yeah, and I guess the only other thing that's, again, a little bit of Alex says he'd like to have a game that I feel is pitchable this year. Sounds like a great goal. And yeah, and playtesting every week is going to do a lot to get you towards that goal. So I think, sticking with those two goals, I think is a really great way to start. Yeah, and I think the only thing other for me that's also slightly going back to the streaming is to maybe think about how just to give back a little bit more to the community. I don't know if it would, I'd love to see if I can be of kind of service or use to designers. I think I'm, obviously I've got a bit of experience, and I like sharing it with people, and so it's just finding ways that it could be more, that I can be of service to people. So whether I was sort of thinking. I saw another interesting thread on Twitter about pitching games. I don't know if anybody is interested who's watching, but for example, I'd be quite happy if you wanted to send me a sell sheet of a game or a video pitch or something. I could watch it on stream or read it, and I could give my thoughts or feedback about that if that would be interesting. Hopefully, obviously that's something personal, and maybe not everyone wants it to be kind of publicized like that, but it could be very useful for the person who's pitched it, obviously, but maybe also quite instructive for other people. I'd quite happily do that. So I think, I'd always just say, just reach out to me on Twitter or put things in chat on stream. I'm always happy to kind of look at things in more specifically, and also especially ways of like where I can share that with other people at the same time. I feel like streams are a nice, quite efficient way in a way of sharing information and reaching a lot of people at the same time. So hopefully that's useful. Dave said, I've got very lazy with pitching with no cons. Easy for me to do the bits I'm better at than pushing myself to do the bits I'm not that good at. Well, yeah. I mean, the list of my goals this year is basically a list of things I'm not very good at, which is like getting a better work ethic and working on this game that I know I want to work on, but I haven't done anything on. Working on like branding and graphic design and all this sort of stuff. But I guess that's, you need those are the hard things. And the hope is, of course, is that if you have a list of things that you don't like any of them, by the law of procrastination, then you're going to do at least one of them. You're going to do the one that's the least, that you least detest, just by comparison, even if by itself you wouldn't want to do it. So that might be useful. Dutch Yoda is going to continue my Orleans flip and ride. That's a great goal. Rob said Dave's done a fantastic job building yourself a niche as one of the go-to solo mode guys. Yeah, definitely, that's true. I've been really impressed, and I think David, you're really great at like you've got a great Discord and kind of great places in group as far as I can tell around that, and kind of talking about yourself on Facebook. No, I've been really impressed with what you're doing. Hey Bez, how you going? Welcome to the stream. Happy New Year's. Already saw you on your stream, but yeah, it was nice to see you here. Yeah, so it says, I decided this year to have to either clean the bathroom, take the trash, or go exercise. I feel I might get more exercise. Well, that's true. If you like kind of only give yourself choices of bad options, then you're probably still going to do one of them. I remember that's often how my to-do lists at work as a scientist would work. I would have a list, and I would be doing something, and it would just mean that you'd get the least worst thing done, but you still make progress, so that could be useful. Yeah, but sometimes you have to only have one thing on the list if that's really the thing you should be working on. So it can be a bit tricky like that. Yeah, but I think those are the kind of main game design goals. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I'm really. I mean, I think also finding ways to support the games that are being released. I feel like there's still just a lot of uncertainty about like what games will be released this year, like what's the world going to be like, in terms of like conventions and the normal kind of channels that you would go through to publicize a game and to talk about a game. But yeah, I'd like to kind of support those as best I can, and I don't thinking about ways to do that, I guess. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm sitting. Jay said, I've hardly pitched anything this year, so getting around to pitch is one of my goals for 21. Yeah, well, I think the other nice thing that through the pandemic that sort of popped up is a lot of these kind of places where you can pitch. For example, I think I saw that the let me find it. I think the what's it called? The Cardboard Edison design competition is open again. I'm pretty sure. Trying to find it. Award. Oh yeah, so it opens. Yeah, here we go. Hold on, I'll share this. No late coming late, Bez. Yeah, I can summarize. Basically, I've just been talking about goals. So if you have any goals, Bez, and you're happy to share, please, it would be great to share and chat about it. And I've been sort of chatting about my own design-based goals for the year. And as I kind of go, I'm going officially part-time in my other job and part-time in game design this year. So, you know, being a bit more professional about it and thinking about goals to do with that. Matt is more than just a man. It is also going to do some, yeah, that's a good one-line description. Yeah, I'm more than a man and going to do some game stuff. Yeah, so anyway, the Cardboard Edison Award is open today. So if you have a game, then I would encourage you to submit. So they've got a really great book, which is like looking at, there's a lot of like great articles about sort of best practices. In fact, I guess this is the new edition, which I haven't read yet. Seems to be a lot of quite cool things. There's Connor Wake, who was the designer of the 2019 winner of the competition. There's an interview with the 2020 winner of the competition, Marcus Lehner. Interview with Glenn Dresser, who was a co-winner of the 2020 award. Yeah, so it seems to be a lot of, you know, great interviews with people talking about various aspects of playtest and design. So would recommend Daniel Solis, excellent Daniel Solis. And yeah, I just get into it and enter. You know, if you've got a game now, then you're able to submit. Let's see, how do you actually submit? Submission's open. Okay. They're maybe not telling you how to submit yet. Rules. To be eligible award, designers must not... Okay, so it has to be basically something that's not already published or things like that. You can be accepted in 2 tracks, online judging and in-person judging. Designers will select the track they deem most appropriate for the game. So I guess if you have a tabletop simulator prototype or something like that, you can choose to be like, they'll play test it online and things like that. A submission has to have a brief description of the game, a video overview, and a rules document. So looking at the submissions page a little bit more closely, there is a $10 submission fee, but if you are a patron of Cardboard Edison at $2 per month, you can receive a coupon code for 1 free submission. So yeah, so if you kind of if you want to save some money, you're able to, if you become a Patreon supporter, that would give you the coupon, and so it's sort of the $2 of the Patreon is cheaper than the $10 of the submission fee. But I will say, if anybody, if that $10 fee is a problem for anybody for any reason, please get in contact. I'm more than happy to pay that for you. I'm happy to support people trying to enter these competitions. So and do let other people know. Very happy to support that. And yeah, for each description, you need a brief description of the game. So you need a game description. So it's just literally like a kind of, you know, title, player count, playtime, brief description of the game. You need a video that's as short as possible. There's some frequently asked questions, and you need a link to the complete rules document. So I'll throw out the gauntlet to anybody who's watching, especially those who have a goal to pitch a game or to get a game published, to enter this competition. So entries are will be open until the end of January. And I'm also happy, kind of talking about before, I'm happy to look over pitches. If anyone would be happy for me to share on stream, I'd be more than happy. So yeah, either whisper me on Twitch or get in contact with me on Twitter or anything like that. So yeah, really, it's a really great award, and you know, a lot of the games have gone on to be published, and they have some amazing judges. You get really good feedback, is my understanding. So yeah, I throw down the gauntlet to the chat to let's get some entries into the 2021 Cardboard Edison award. Rob was saying, I didn't pitch anything last year, but I did get several collaborations starting. I'm also hoping to get at least a couple to a pitching stage this year. Also, I'm planning to sign up for the Tabletop Mentorship Program as a mentor, hoping I can be useful. I think you would be extremely useful, Rob, and that's very kind of you to offer your time like that. I should also remember to sign up. I'm sure I'll get an email because I was on their previous list, and that's also starting soon. So anybody who is interested in that, I would encourage them to have a look at that. David said, somebody listened to me, Rob, so go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Bears, I don't really have any goals to design. I've pretty much come to peace with not doing any design until I can see people in real life. That's perfectly understandable. As a publisher, I want to finish Categorical, maybe sort out some logistics so someone else can do my fulfillment, maybe do a reprint of Kitty Cataclysm, or actually publish my poetry cards in a super budget format. As a person, I want to get ready to move in summer. I'm cutting out sugar this month. That sounds like a very, very good, like good summary of goals, Bez. So I'm glad. Yeah, thanks very much for sharing that. Yeah, I hope you can sort of sort out this. Yeah, like obviously moving is also a big thing to kind of work out with. Yeah. Alex says, I just finished being mentored. It was a great experience. Yeah, I'm glad it was useful. Yeah, when does the mentorship open again? I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look. Tabletop. Where can I? Oops, I should be just sharing this so I can share the screen. Thank you for wanting to be a mentor, for example. Sign up to become a mentor. No. I think it's probably something like the 15th of this month, I seem to remember. If anyone has a better idea of what the date that that the mentorship thing is starting up again. But yeah, it's definitely this month. I think it's in 1 or 2 weeks is sort of the deadline. Yeah. Some point in January, yeah. I feel I will also draw. Oh, I see. You owe some drawing. Yeah. Yeah. So it just says January, no date yet. Yeah. I seem to remember something like the 11th or the 15th. I suspect it's going to be somewhere in the middle of the month, but yeah, I don't know it. They don't have the actual time yet, I guess. Yeah. So that's kind of where the design things. Dutch Yoda says I could use a mentor. Well, then sign up for the Tabletop Mentorship Program. I will drop the link in the description. Link in the description below. No, I've been watching too many YouTube videos. But that's the link. Go and yeah, I don't think there's a way for you to get notified necessarily. Unfortunately, it'd be nice if they had like a kind of mailing list that you could. Yeah. Don't forget to smash that like button. Yeah, exactly. It's funny how you get very programmed into these sort of things. Yeah, so I'll try and keep that in mind on future streams, and hopefully I'll kind of I'll highlight that when things are open. I hope I will remember, or people in the chat can remind me to do so. So yeah, excellent. Well, I think that is kind of getting towards the end of what I want to talk about today. Beth says, if anyone wants me as a mentor and wants to chat to me once a couple of weeks on my show, that could be fun. Yeah, I mean, if people are happy to be mentored live, that could be really cool. I find, yeah, it could work. I mean, in some ways, it's easier when it's not, because I think obviously when you're streaming, it's hard. You're kind of balancing different things at the same time, right? And being able to just focus on the mentee is nice, but at the same time, it could be a good way to kind of show off what that experience is. Maybe just as a kind of one example kind of mentor session or something like that. Yes, like mentoring could sound scary. I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, like, yeah, it would be with the permission of of all parties concerned or something like that. But yeah, maybe it could be useful. Or maybe Bez, you and I could like role play mentor mentee or something like that if you want. What like on stream or something like that. I'm sure we could. Well, I'm sure I could learn a lot from you, and I hope I could be useful. I could be a good mentee. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to play something today. I'm a bit tired after yesterday. Sorry, not after yesterday. We're up quite fairly late, so I think I might leave it in terms of playing anything. Does it any? I'll put up to if there's any like Q&A, just let me know. I'll probably coming to the end of it. I think I'll be like 5 or 10 minutes more streaming. So yeah, any questions, let me know. Bez says, honestly, you could be an amazing mentor. I don't feel like I have solid enough goals. That's very kind of you, Bez. Yeah, I've been a mentor. I think I've had about probably like 6 or 7 mentees over the years now through the program. I had 2 in the last session, which was really great. 2 people at very different stages of their kind of designing career. But it was I find it, I really recommend anybody, if you think you can offer to be a mentor, especially, I know that they are always, certainly I think they're always more short of mentors than they are mentees. Like often people are mentoring several people. So if you have any experience and you feel like you could, to do that, then I'd really recommend signing up for it. And they're really supportive of it. So that's really great. Thanks for the questions, Bez and T-Bone Sticks. Welcome, T-Bone Sticks. I don't think I've seen you before, but welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Bez says, what do you think of the way that the mentorship program suggests you pick a single project on to focus as a mentee? I think that's quite good because I think it gives you something very specific to discuss with your mentee, and it helps you set goals. I think one of the best things with the mentoring thing is to set little goals from session to session. So you tend to talk once every 2 weeks, or that's the kind of the time they recommend you chat with your mentee. And I found it really useful to set little goals for the mentee, like you agree with the mentee, like what's an appropriate goal for that? What do you think you get done in the next couple of weeks? Because that gives you a way into the next session to then talk about, like how did you go with that goal? And then that's a way of also, passing on knowledge or to address what problems might have come. And it also makes sure that you're kind of being accountable, which I think is really a really great thing about having somebody else, a really great benefit, and you may as well make use of it. And I think in all of that, if you focus on a single project, that's most likely you're going to see the most progress in that project. I think if you don't have a single focus, it can just be a bit ineffective. I think you can end up discussing things quite generally without making progress in a specific project. So I think that's a really good way to do it. No problems with lurking. Enjoy. Yeah, I don't have a command set up with. I'm not on. It must be OBS or something, right? Which does commands. So when I professionalize and I'm on a better platform, that will actually do something. But yeah, cool. Thanks, mate. Yeah. So T-Bone Sticks. How did you get to the point of going part-time? What did that process look like? Yeah. So I'd recommend looking back on some old streams. I mean, especially potentially the last stream, which is where I look back in my last year. So the short answer of why I can go part-time is that my games have been successful enough, especially quite recently. I've had a couple of reasonably successful games, which are making enough money that I can, that is a reasonable way I think is I can make enough money going forward. And there's a couple of different paths to that, but actually in both, really the main point with those games is that that I've had the good fortune to have a few games that are successful, but they're also games which there is room to release new products for in the years to come. So even, because sometimes when you have a new game, it can sell very well in the first year, but then very quickly the sales fall down. You might not sell anything in the second year or beyond. So that's not a very sustainable way, and that's obviously a lot more risky as to base your job on something that you're worrying about getting out a new game every year and has to be successful. But for example, I designed these adventure games which are scenario based, and we release between 1 and 2 every year, and they've been reasonably successful. So there's a good expectation as we release more and more that they'll keep selling. And because we know that, I know as a designer, I don't have to go through the process of selling that again. I'm not because I think that one of the hard things as a independent or like kind of freelance game designer is that you're kind of always risking the fact that you're putting in a lot of time and effort to design something, often without any kind of financial security. You haven't signed that to a publisher yet necessarily. And if you can't sign it, then you've sort of wasted that time. And any way that you can get around that risk is one of the main factors, I think, that means you can start looking at it as a, a properly part-time or full-time job. For some people, that means taking on commissions from publishers where, publishers will pay up front for you to do kind of design for hire almost. You might still get royalties, but it's basically like a publisher comes to you and wants this project for you to do. So you don't have the risk of a publisher not signing it because you've kind of already signed it before you're working on it. And other ways are to have, a continuing series of games, or where you can do expansion for games where, a publisher wants to release those things. You don't have to pitch it again. And often you already have an audience for that. So yeah, for both Monumental, which is another kind of big Kickstarter game that I had an expansion kickstarted last year, and we hope to kind of continue growing that line. And the adventure games, which are scenario based, and I also have several other projects which are similar to that. So that gave me the confidence to sort of say, okay, I think I can probably go part-time, and that I could see, not only that I was making enough money now, but that I could see that being kind of replicated in years to come. And that's the real difficulty. And I'm in a very privileged position to be able to do that. I think it's actually, honestly, it's a really difficult profession to be full-time or part-time, and especially I'm even more privileged because I am independent. I'm not a publisher. I don't self-publish. I don't have to work on anything. I'm not commissioned to do things. I really get to work on whatever projects I want, mostly. And to be able to do that and still make money with that risk, I'm really fortunate to be able to do that. So hopefully that answers your question. But and that's I think partly what this stream is trying to do, is to try and give a bit of an insight into what that life is like, and to see whether it might be for you, but also to see like I guess I don't want to make it's you're seeing me at the end of a journey that's been like 10 years. Like I started designing about 10 or 11 years ago. And I was lucky enough to have a job that I was a PhD student basically for a lot of the time where I was starting designing, when I had my first games published. So I didn't have any like financial pressures. I didn't have family. I didn't have mortgage repayments. I had a job which paid me enough money to live, and also gave me plenty of flexibility and spare time. So I had a lot of like privileges in those early stages, which allowed me to get here. And that's something I don't want to kind of gloss over, I guess. Yeah. Bez, talking of waste of time, Kinesia has indicated that they literally never give up on a design once it gets to the pitching stage. Any comments to that? And talking of Kinesia, can any of us draw any parallels from that powerhouse? Yeah, really great questions. Yeah, it's tricky. I am actually getting to the stage with one of my, I believe a little bit the same, that once you've got a game that you're happy enough to pitch, I would always keep trying to pitch it. I don't necessarily give up on games. That being said, there are a couple of games that for me that I have pitched to people, and in both the cases the games were quite close to being signed. For whatever reasons it didn't happen. And I'm honestly wondering if I am going to keep pitching the games anymore. But I think I still think it's a relatively low barrier to just keep having those games in mind, and to keep looking for new opportunities to pitch to publishers. Like you've done all this work to make the game. I think it's a relatively small amount of work to look for new opportunities for people you could connect with and pitch the game. I strongly believe that, getting a game published is it's not luck, but it's kind of engineered luck. You have to put yourself in a position to be lucky. And the more people you can be pitching to and the more opportunities you get, then you're just engineering more luck, or more opportunities. And especially I think it's the case of, having those games on you when you go to pitch, because you never know when you're going to have the opportunity to pitch. So just being prepared, I think is very important. And, and that's why there are prototypes that I keep together, like I think once, like I don't get rid of them. And that's something I need to get a little bit better of I guess, pushing some older designs. But I do believe that I think beginning designers, it's very hard to get, it's hard to get bad feedback, or to have a game not be signed, or to show it to a lot of publishers. But I would say don't let the previous experiences of pitching or the previous experience of how a game is to be seen necessarily put you off from showing it to more people. Now, it may be the game can be improved. Games can always be improved. And you can keep working on the game, but I don't think there's much, obviously there's some line, because if the game is not finished or it's not very good, and it's hard for me to say you should always pitch your game to everybody no matter what. But I mean, if you have a certain amount of experience, like Kinesia or myself, like, and if you think you're happy with the game and you've got feedback from other people, like who aren't family and you place as a group that the game is good, then even if you haven't been able to sell it yet, I would sort of stay the course and try and keep pitching it and put the effort. So I definitely agree with that not giving up is a good idea. It's hard to do, and it does just get harder because there are only so many publishers, right? That once you've shown it to a certain number of publishers, and also I would say Kinesia has an even more privileged position than a lot of designers, absolutely deserved considering his pedigree of his designs. But he has publishers literally approaching him for games. So I think he has a lot of opportunities to show games to publishers. There's always new publishers coming out and asking him for designs. What have you got to show us? If you're not in that position, it can be a bit hard to like find new publishers to approach all the time. But yeah, it's possible. And yeah, I think the base point is, you've put in there is a sunk cost fallacy, but realistically the energy, like, it's always worth setting up new relationships with publishers, even if it's not to pitch the old games. New games is also, and if you're already pitching games, well, pitching one extra game is not really any more effort, is it? So yeah, and talking of Kinesia, can any of us draw any parallels from that powerhouse? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's something to be said about experience. I think it's knowing what you're good at. Kinesia obviously knows the style of game. He is very good at designing. Maybe it's his natural inclination, but he does talk about that he has to keep fresh. He has to keep looking at what's going on in gaming and trying new things. But it's so I think always like keeping a bit of keeping abreast of what's happening in the game industry. I think it's something to learn from Kinesia. I think he does. He doesn't. It was sort of a famous quote that used to say that he never played any other published games, but he definitely doesn't do that anymore. And I think if he's realized that, then I think we can all learn from that. I think actually what I was saying before, I think that kind of workmanship, that point of like writing when you don't feel like writing, designing when you don't feel like designing. I think he is just a true professional, and he's not the only professional, but he's certainly someone to learn from that. And yeah, Alex said he basically has his own design studio. It's true. He kind of has a team of playtesters, like a regular group of playtesters, some of which are designers in their own right, who are often kind of working on the games with him. I know Sebastian Bleasdale of the UK was sort of part of his group in the UK when Reiner lived in the UK. And, Sebastian and Reiner even co-designed the game at some point, because I think in the process, they ended up essentially contributing equally to a design. So yeah, he certainly has more support, but maybe that's something we can learn, like that actually trying to foster a group like around a design. Eric Lang's also talked about it, when he lived in Toronto. I mean, he lives in Toronto now, but I think he moved away and he's come back. But, previously when he lived in Toronto, he had a weekly playtesting night where people, he had a group that would come, regular group of people that he would sort of call upon. He'd provide dinner, and the object was to playtest his prototypes, and having that kind of focused way of approaching playtesting, because it is the biggest barrier to getting games done. That is the most kind of time costly thing, and taking a professional approach to that, as Kinesia does, as Eric Lang does, I think that's something also you can learn from. Now, of course, there aren't many people at Reiner Kinesia's point where they're trying to release 20 games a year. That's it's just not what most people are trying to do. So, but I think, for those who have the goal to playtest every week, making the effort to, foster that group and to do what you can to kind of, reinforce it and make it as regular as possible. And whether that is investing or providing dinner or whatever. Obviously right now we can't meet each other in person, it doesn't make as much sense, but, just finding ways to make, to grow that group and to nurture it as best as possible. I think that's something to learn about. Yeah. Alex asks, have I ever been approached by an agent? No, I have not. I know Brett has. It's more on, so there was this sort of a program in the UK called Mojo Nation, or they're kind of like a company that does these sort of more mass market things. So they kind of provide contacts with like Hasbro and Mattel and like bigger companies. And I know agents kind of work more in that sphere generally in gaming. But no, I've never kind of been approached by an agent, or at least I can't, or at least not seriously. Maybe I got a random email, you know, from someone I had no idea who they are, and I just deleted it. But I can't remember. So no, I would not recommend. That being said, I do know one. Agent in France, for example, Gaetan Bergshow. So the company's called Forge Next. And I know games have been signed through Gaetan, and he's a well-respected guy within the French industry. So it can work, but I would still say I don't think it's that necessary. I think there are plenty of other people who hopefully will help, you know, get your game to a publisher, or like to help. I think there's a lot of people willing to help without you having to like go into a professional relationship with, say, an agent. Hey, Zikhar Sama. Welcome to stream. I don't think I've seen you before, but welcome to stream. Hope you a very happy New Year to you, wherever you might be. We were talking about goals a little bit earlier, but now just general kind of Q&A about designs and things like that. We're talking about Kinesia a little bit. David was saying, I think and hope that the first one is by far the hardest. Also, you're talking about getting a game published. Providing it's good, they get easier from then on. I'm trying new approaches to the whole process, partially inspired by these streams. So we should say, oh, great. Well, I'm that's very kind for you to say, to be inspired by the streams. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm very happy to, like, yeah, I'm happy to help that. Like, maybe it's a bit too much to ask you, like, if you're interested in pitching a game on stream to me as a kind of like as a sort of go through or something, but I'm happy to sort of provide that kind of like practice kind of experience if that's useful. Or I'm happy to also do that offline if people would be. So I'm happy to do that, David, for you, and chat more about it if you want. I think Alex is heading off, so yeah, nice to see you, Alex. Thanks very much for dropping by. Hey, Daryl, how are you going? I don't think I've seen you much on. I'm not sure if the time zones work out for you, but yeah, welcome. Thanks for popping by. Zakami, you're from the UK. I'm hobby designer. Fantastic. Have you gone to the playtest networks before, or been involved with anything like that? Well, you're in the right place. So I was formerly part of the UK kind of network, still am, I guess, but I live in Prague at the moment. So yeah, but feel free to catch up on the old streams, and also there's a YouTube channel where I post everything, like all the old streams, like, so they're archived all the time, and hopefully they're useful. So people have said that they listen to them, you know, while washing up or doing other things. Maybe I should make a podcast version. I'm not sure if that's interesting to anybody. Yeah, I don't think I've missed any. Yeah, I think the big thing is to be able to point at something already published. Oh, in terms of pitching, yeah, no, it definitely helps in making contacts. But I feel like there are more and more opportunities for you to, you know, things like the Cardboard Edison competition, or things like there was the pitch. What was the pitch project last year, for example? I feel like there are more and more opportunities to kind of get like AEG. If you check out the Alderac Design Group, for example, which is now me trying to find that group. There's the Alderac Design Center, which I'd recommend also checking out. Can I share it? Hold on. I can at least show it. This is the Alderac Design. So AEG, the Alderac Entertainment Group, great publisher. I've had games published in them before. They have a really great kind of group, and they talk about you know, like how to get your. They give like advice about how to pitch games to AEG, what they're looking for, and it's they have really great things. They're looking at, like, they have, you know, they've had threads before where they've asked for pitches, video pitches. They talk about things they're looking for. Really recommend joining that. If you're interested, I can try and, what's the link? Share. Can I find a link? Copy link. Okay. So yeah, would recommend looking at that as well, just as a random point. Yeah. Daryl says, yes, time zones are tough for me. I'm on the US West Coast, so I just finished my morning for everything. Yeah, I remember I've done a UK West Coast and Australia Skype once for some reason, and it was like the most impossible thing. No, like, it was no way that anybody could have a good time. But yeah, the West Coast is always really tricky. But yeah, but thanks for dropping by anyway. Yeah, hope you're well. Happy New Year. Whoops, I don't need to mute myself. Yeah, so I think I'm just trying to see if I've missed anything in the chat. Oh yeah, thanks for those. Thanks Rob for dropping the link to the mentorship program. Yeah, and I'll try and highlight it when it starts, but it should be in the next couple of weeks. I hope. Yeah, so I think that's kind of getting to the end of the time. Maybe we'll do a little bit of GeoGuessr. I like to do a little bit like a little bit of a game. Therese, my fiance, is laughing in the background because I had an absolute horrible showing at France the other day. But seeing there seem to be a bit more, few more UK people in chat, maybe we can do a bit of a UK go. But yeah, but feel free to tune out if you know if you'd like to be doing something else. But yeah, also keep throwing questions in the chat. I will just say also if you ever want to get in touch with me, I'm Wise Goldfish on Twitter. Feel free to send me a message. My hair is getting like absolutely crazy during. I haven't had a haircut for most of the year, so I can't. I just look at myself and can't help but play with it. Yes. Yes, I can't. I just can't help myself. No, I'm a glutton for punishment. Yeah, so drop a line to me on Facebook if you ever any questions. Happy to answer or to work it out, and or on Twitch. And yeah, I will. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. European time, Central European time, 4 p.m. GMT. And I'm looking to maybe start streaming on Wednesday morning, so that's would be 9 a.m. European time, most likely, or possibly 10, so it could be 9 o'clock for the UK. 8 a.m. is a little bit early. And I was trying to not clash with you, Bez, so because Bez, you start at 10 a.m. UK time, I think. So yeah, I don't want to clash with you, so I can be the lead into Bez maybe on Wednesdays or something like that. Sikhark Sama. Sorry, I'm probably not getting your name right. Do you start with theme or mechanics? That is a black hole of a question. But the short answer is I don't. It depends on the project. It has to start somewhere. I need to start with sometimes I'll start with a particular mechanism that I think is cool, and the game will grow from there. Sometimes I'll have a theme where I'm like, I definitely want to make a game about this, or like sort of mirroring this other type of game, and that's the starting point of the project. I think it really just depends on the project. It can start anywhere. Theme or mechanics are good places to start. Sometimes it's a product. Sometimes I'm sort of like, wow, these microgames are cool. Like, I'd love to make a 27-card microgame. And I would say that's not really a mechanical way to start. It's not a theme way to start. It's kind of constraint-led or like product-led. Or I want to make a children's game, that's like a category. So there's no one right way to start a game. Absolutely not. And don't believe anyone who tells you that there's only one way to start a game. But you need something to start a game, I guess would be my point. It's hard to sort of, if you don't have a good idea or something that's kind of like actionable that you can feel like you can kind of explore or dig into, then you're going to have a tough time getting to that first prototype. If your idea is not suggesting at least what like kind of first prototype should be like. It won't tell you exactly everything. You need to do the design, but yeah, you need something like that. It's best to say, well, I started at 10, was thinking of 9 a.m. Yeah, of the two guests I contact, one was indifferent, of these times. And of the folk in my chat today, one has a preference for 9, but no one else did. So I asked on Twitter, most folks say 10 a.m. is better, hard to choose. Maybe we'll stick with 10. It was just nice to get up earlier. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, yeah, I think it's, yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to clash with you, Bez, but I guess I was thinking, yeah, because I think for me, 10 o'clock European, 9 o'clock UK means that, yeah, I could hit still possibly some people in the UK, whereas I'm sure if I started 9 o'clock European, it's a bit of an ask for most of the UK listeners. So we shall see. As the guy said, I wish I could design smaller games and you can just call me Z. I don't quite. I can just call me Z. Okay. Oh, Zed. Sorry, gosh, I'm such an American. No, I've been. Anyway, yeah, well, but that's a great way to start. I mean, so I did this series of games called the Good Little Games, which was around the micro game time, where they had to fit. At the first time, they had to be 18 cards or less, fit on two sheets of A4, and we allowed ourselves to use like just some common, components like a few counters or a die or two. And that could be a great way of starting. So like if you want to, if just a small bit of like self-promotion, I guess. But feel free to check out the Good Little Games, which is goodlittlegames.co.uk. You get an idea of some of the things we were designing there, and we just released them as print play games. So that can be also a good way of, good way of just starting, I guess. So if you want to use that as a kind of constraint to start, constraints are great to start a design. Feel free to do that. I believe that pretty much any aspect of the game can be decided with cover, title, experience, moment, hook, components, one of the rules, mechanism, target audience, basically anything that a game has could be a starting point. Absolutely. And there's a lot of things just from real life that can be a starting point, and obviously themes can be from real life, but even just like how something interacts in real life, how does a system work in the real world, you can transport to that again. The starting point is just something you decide first. That is a great way to put it. Next, I'll ask for the meaning of everything, not except the 42 out of it. Yes, that may be beyond the scope of this stream. Okay. So, GeoGuessr time. I'm not going to do so they have this new Battle Royale, which is basically where you have to like guess the country. But I just know I'm going to be absolutely terrible at it. But maybe we can do one quick one of it. So basically you have to guess which country you're in. I'll do a quick play. And you sort of have to be, did it load? I can't tell whether it's, thanks Rob. Shit. Have a good evening too. This appears to not be working. Unless it's just, all right, now it is working. Okay, because it was sort of loading. So yeah, they drop you in a random country, and you have to guess that country. But there's an interesting bit of kind of like gaming the system in this, in that you can see what other people guess. So if you kind of wait long enough, then yeah, you can get some interesting information. This kind of looks European, I would make a guess. And yeah, you can see on the right, you can see like the guesses that people have already made, which is sort of interesting. So you can sort of wait. It definitely, I would guess, oh gosh. I just need to find is there anywhere, is there? Okay, I'm just gonna guess the Czech Republic, I guess. Whoa, no, that's not what I guessed. Okay, well, I didn't. just always guess the country that you're in, and then that'll hopefully do well. Jay's been playing GeoGuessr quite a bit lately with another streamer. Okay, cool. Twitch streamers DFUB like to play GeoGuessr's community games. Stream watchers also help out. It's great fun. Oh, okay. I'll have a check at DFUB. Okay. Other people are still going. Okay. So always just guess the Czech Republic. Okay, so that's it sounds Italian, I guess, or Spanish. Hold on. Let me check this sign. Guess it must be like, definitely sounds very, oh no, Italian is not. Hold on. Feels like something in South America. Hold on. Whew. This is stressful. Yes. There you go. Well, I just got through there. Yeah, I'm not used to playing this on stream because it's quite it's quite. I want to say something like Turkey. Weirdly enough, what the hell? What are all these people who are like? Wow, I'm against some pros in this thing. I'm gonna get like completely smacked around, I think. Oh, the other one I'd say is Greece, maybe. Okay, I'm on a bit of. I was not expecting to do this well, to be honest. I think I've made some good lucky guesses. Okay. Oh, okay. There was a sign there. Teatro. That's interesting because it does. Maybe it's Slovakia actually would be my guess. It definitely looks. Yeah. Because that first word on that sign, because teatro is not a Czech word. It would be divadlo is Czech. So there are some weird like false friends, I guess, or like things that are different between the different countries. You can guess. You have up to 3 guesses. Like you have like 3 hearts basically. Let's just say Salon de Eventos. Okay, so something Spanish. I don't know. I mean, I would just guess things like. Cool. I mean, I'm just. Okay, maybe I can wait. Actually, hold on. Let's get this down. I'm not cultured whatsoever. Yeah, well, I mean, but some of this is kind of just guesses, you know. Oh, someone did guess Colombia. Oh gosh, okay. No, someone already did Ecuador. Argentina, maybe? I don't really know. Okay, I'll try Uruguay. No, I'm out. Is it going to tell me what it was? Oh, it was Bolivia. All right. Yes, car plates are normally blocked out, so you can't. You can't do it. It'd be a bit too easy that way. Yeah. Can you tell the color? Yeah. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Like tops. I don't know what I actually was. I like top 4. That was definitely way better than I thought I was going to do. Way better. So I think the first round, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if you just can't get knocked out or. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Oh, is that a Latvian flag? I can't really tell. Oh, that's weird. It was a weird. It's like one day it was there, and one day it's not. It does look Latvian, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it's Latvian. Yeah. Bit of a lucky. I could see this flag. A bit fortunate. I also don't know if they rock paper scissors lizard fuck. Yeah, I don't know if they also are kind of like if the actual ones they choose are kind of vetted, you know, so that they do have some defining characteristics. Yeah, no, thanks very much, David. Very happy New Year to you, and yeah, enjoy your evening. Zed, rather, would it be possible at some point to get your opinion on game designing? I want to know if it's a point I could pitch to publishers. Yeah, definitely. Like, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, for example. And yeah, if you feel free to send me a sell sheet or something like that. Yeah, happy to do it. That was the redeeming 1 minute. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, that's me. That's bad. Hold on. Yes, I saw that. Okay, you want a 1 minute review? Okay, we're gonna have to do it after this. The current. Oh wow, there's only 3 of us left, so I might actually even win this. This definitely looks fairly. Tropical. I would sort of think South America. That would be my guess. Just looking for anything that looks like a sign, I guess. Maybe, oh, okay, hold on. There was a sign over there. Can I get on the other side of the road, please? The word is love. Oh, or is it Nigeria, probably? I'm only guessing it is. Oh, yeah. Nigeria seems to be a common like GeoGuessr location. I guess it depends like how many relative streams or things. So you suck at cell sheets. Okay, well, just feel free to like send me. You're thinking Myanmar. Okay, yeah. Well, it was a dark skinned person on the sign, so I sort of guessed in Africa. Oh wow, I might just win. Who knows? I only have to get 2 right and get there. Well, I was watching some very pro. I won. Hey. Well, that's 50% hit rate. Pretty good, pretty good. So Bez, thank you for redeeming your channel points. I think you're the first person to redeem anything with the channel points. I might be, maybe other people have redeemed stuff, but yeah, it doesn't show up in stream now. But anyway, a 1-minute review. I would do it of a game. I would be great if I had the box, but I will give a 1-minute review of Bruges by Sevenfeld. I will bring it up on screen. Bruges. Game Geek. So Bruges is a yes. My Twitter is at wisegoldfish. I'll put that up again. There you go. So, oh wait. So the one. Okay, yes, Bez. Pick a game. Sorry, my apologies. That's true. I set these things up so long ago. Yeah. So pick a game. Oh, sorry. Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, spock. That's your choice. I see. Okay. I've never played it, Bez. So I will attempt to give a 1-minute review. I think I'm very intrigued by the mathematics of it. Finding those pairwise relationships is cool, and I think any game where you only have to use your hands is a great idea. So I would rate it very highly, but I've never played it, so I feel like I can't really give a. I kind of want to give a real review. That's the sort of thing. It's because on other like I had these sort of mini reviews where I was sort of talking about it's always a bit weird to review other people's games because you're always worried about not offending people, but I know how hard it is to get criticism about your game. So it's always a bit, I don't want to contribute to that. I really value reviewers who are critical of games, and I love people like Shut Up, No Pun Included, for example. I think they're an amazing job. But yeah, I guess I don't always want to add to that for a designer, but yeah, so that's my very quick review of Rock, Paper, Scissors, Lizard, Spock. Great concept, intrigued by the mathematics, and also always I appreciate the ingeniousness of having a game that you can just play with effectively no components. I think that would be a really great, that's a great game jam kind of idea or something, or like, yeah, I mean, it's a bit similar to the old Button Shy contest, the one card competition that Button Shy did, which I think was amazing for like unlocking creativity and thinking about new things. So, and do I think it's worse than the original due to the added complexity? I mean, it depends who it's for. I think for me, I would welcome that complexity, so I kind of enjoy it. There's a few more ways to outguess people. I think, of course, the great thing would be if you could play it without repeating. So the idea is that you play 3 rounds, but you can't choose if you've already picked an option. Like in a previous round, you can't choose it again. I think that would make it even better, because then there's a little bit of strategy, a little bit of playing. It's not completely random, and then having the extra options means like if you've got 5 choices, you could play like best of 3 rounds, and even in the 3rd round, you still have 3 options of what you could say. You can't say the things you said in the previous 2 rounds. So yeah, I think that for me, but obviously it is definitely more complex. So I think for people just wanting an easy way to decide something, it's better to. It's also less likely to have ties, which I think can be quite important in some cases. So yeah, hope that was That was good. Oh yeah, okay, it does show up in my activity feed. The review roll. Oh, and you did. Okay, I see. Cool. So I hope that is. Yeah, it's an interesting case where the added complexity seems unnecessary. Kind of adds theme, has made it a cult classic. Yeah, I didn't know it gets played that much. I mean, I know of it, but yeah, I can't say I've sort of come across it that much. Okay, let's maybe one or two more. I probably want to round up once we get to 2 hours, but I'm enjoying this kind of like battle royale. It's a bit it's it's quite frenetic, I'm going to say, but I do enjoy the kind of like the simplicity of it is sort of fun, and there's like a bit of that added game theory about waiting for other people to make the guess for you, like and see which countries were guessed first, which is quite cool. There are some signs up here on the left. Someone's got it right already. Produced by, okay, that's funny. I mean, I guess I would guess, yeah, I would have guessed South Africa actually. Somebody guessed that already. There's a sign here. No, nothing really. And it's also a left-hand drive, which makes me think a former UK colony, I guess. I think we're definitely in Africa. This is where I'm gonna be really bad. Like I would guess something like Zimbabwe, I guess. No, it's not South Africa. Botswana. No, it's not Botswana. Oh gosh. No. Wow, I'm just not gonna get this one, I think. What was it? Lesotho. Wow, okay. Well done to those 4 people who got that. Thanks, Jay. Take care. Oh, okay. Yeah, Zed. Just, I mean, I don't know what would be useful for you. I mean, I guess if you can put, kind of any information about your game, in a kind of short enough, not the whole dump maybe, and maybe that'll give me enough to kind of give you some feedback. Yeah, like if you have some rules, for example, or you have like kind of a pitch, like how would you pitch the game to other people? Like maybe that's the thing. Maybe, if you put it how you would pitch it to a publisher in an email or something like that. It's a good thing to practice anyway. Yeah, maybe you try that. Yeah. So yeah, then feel free to send that through. All right, Lesotho. There we go. We've learned something. This looks interesting. Okay, but we should be able to quickly. Okay, so we're in, like, my guess would be Mexico, I guess. Immediately. Yeah, Mexico hasn't come up yet. Oh no, not Mexico. Colombia, Peru, no. Brazil. That could be Venezuela. No. Cuba, maybe? Okay, I feel like I need to. Well, it's one of those things, if you wait long enough, and also like websites are sort of interesting. Yeah, it's definitely, okay, it's definitely Mexican. So it's just choose a country that hasn't already come up, I guess. Oh, gosh, wow. That was pretty bad. Okay, yeah. So yeah, a pitch I could work with. Yeah, that'd be good. They're going to tell me where I was. Bolivia. Okay, well. A pity. Hey, Robert. Yeah, we're playing some GeoGuessr. I got to the end of the sort of the game design portion of the chat, and I've sort of been liking doing some GeoGuessr. So this is the Battle Royale version of GeoGuessr, where you just have to guess the country. Well, they guessed Australia. This is not Australia. But yeah, it's gosh. So yeah, it's Battle Royale. So you're up, you know, it's kind of like knockout. Okay, here we go. I feel like, can I not? But the time limit is quite. It's interesting that there's so much English. Hold on. South Africa was guessed already. What's on? Congo. Nigeria was already. Ugh. Poor. Ghana. Okay. Is there a flag clue? I mean, the clues, I guess you can tell. Yeah, I didn't see the flag clue. I didn't see something. Maybe other people. Thanks, Robert, for trying. How do you come up with a pitch for your games? Zed asks. Well, yeah, that's probably another topic for another stream. I think I think you're really trying to get to the core of what the game is. You know, you want the kind of like the bullet point information, like, you know, how many players is it for? How long is it? You know, what's the kind of theme? You want to very succinctly say, what are the players doing in the game? You know, like as a kind of like one sentence, and then basically try and describe the game in the most, what's the best thing that's happening in the game that you want to know. It could be like a feeling that you want the players to go, like, I want you to feel like you're racing a spaceship through asteroids or something like that. Like, so really like grabbing them and saying, like, that's what I want. You know, that's what the game is supposed to do, to put people in a particular, you know, setting or a particular feeling. Or sometimes it might be, you know, a mechanistic thing. It's like, you know, it's a great puzzle game with a fun tile puzzle mechanism or something like that. That's a bit harder, you know. I think for a pitch, just having, you know, yeah, as Robin says, like, what makes it unique? Why should a publisher invest in your game? I think you're always just trying to grab people. What's the most, you know, memorable part of the game? What's the thing that really grabs people, either emotionally or kind of like cerebrally, if there's an interesting puzzle? Try and describe that. And pictures are really useful as well. And also, I guess, when you pitch a game, having a feeling to know how it fits in with what games a publisher's already doing. Like, for example, if a publisher's doing children's games, you can say, I see your range of children's game. I think this could fit in really well. It could have really great components for a children's game. Maybe this company tends to make really great, you know, components with their games. And so you can try and fit in and show a knowledge of what that publisher is already doing and how your game could fit into that publisher's work. But yeah, it's, yeah, I think that's it's, if I get more, I'd love to do some interviews with some developers and people at publishers. And I think there's also a really great tabletop, what's it called? There was with Sydney Eggleston, who's the kind of the person who takes pictures for Stronghold. There was a really good video with her. Tabletop Network YouTube or something like that. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, okay, I found the right channel. Just trying to find. Yeah, so this is the channel here, Tabletop Network, and there was this one with, yeah, pitching in the area of social distancing with Sydney Engelstein, where she chats a lot about this, and I'll drop the link in the. So hopefully that's yeah, hopefully that's useful. Yeah, great. No, well, thanks very much for dropping on. I hope it was useful. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, every Monday, Friday, and maybe Wednesday soon. Who knows? Okay, let's do one more battle royale, and then we'll be done. I'll get rid of this banner. Whoops, why have I got that still? Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if I can. Well, I had that. I had that great run. Like top was like top 4, and then I won, and then I've just quickly, fallen off the back of a lorry. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so it's Cyrillic, and Russia's not an option. So I would guess like Bulgaria, maybe? No. Unless that's supposed to be Greece. Greek, no. Yeah, so it's definitely Cyrillic. Oh, unless it's Cyprus would be. Darn it. No. I wish it told you what the country was a bit quicker. Ukraine, okay. I'm learning more. I'm getting better. I swear I'm not addicted. Oh, wow, okay, this looks very recognizable. Okay, I should... Teresa, it's literally Charles Square. Oh no, Old Town Square, sorry. This is Old Town Square in Czech Republic. Or in Czechia. Okay, I've never had that much of a easy one in my life. I was like, as they showed that, I was like, hold on, that looks like I know this view. This is Old Town Square in Prague. Have I ever tried Stream Captain? No, I haven't. What is that? See, I'll have a look. Stream. Stream. Is it a game or is it a Twitter? Stream Captain. Oh, okay. Games for streamers who like to play with their viewers. Okay, I can check that out. Oh, the poor person who thought this was the UK. Although I shouldn't mock. I made plenty of errors myself. Oh, it's interesting. This is classed as a road, I guess. Yeah, just seeing if I can show something cool about. You'll see that these two towers. This is like the Lady of Tin Street or something. And the towers are actually different sizes. And I think it's something to do with they either ran out of building materials or so they had to make one smaller. Yeah, but this is Prague. This is my home. I don't actually live here, obviously, but it's close. I did make the next round. Great. Okay. Okay. That is it Saudi Arabia? Pretty sure that's Saudi Arabia. Oh no, shoot. Well, let's go with shoot. Wait. I feel like I can just keep clicking until I find the flag. How do I not know this country? I think I must be out, right? Or I'm only against one other person. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the chat at the same time. Who the dickens are we? Lebanon? That's really weird. Now I'm just clicking around. It's really bad. I should just know this flag, but I just don't know it. Like I would have said Sudan or Saudi Arabia as I did, or Iraq. Oh no, I don't think it's Iraq because that's Yeah, it has the, like, you can see that the flags come up with oh, UAE. Okay. Hey Ghost Womble, how are you going? Happy New Year. What do I think of Glass Road? Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, thanks for the points. Yeah. I have never played Glass Road, I'm afraid. Very sadly, I'd very much like to play it. Yeah, thanks very much. Happy New Year to you, Z. See you next time. Yes, no, I have not played Glass Road, sadly, but I would very much like to. Does it work well with 2? I think that's the thing I've always sort of not wanted to play it, I guess, because I play a lot of my games with 2, and it just seemed like the mechanism, because it's kind of about how many people choose a particular role, seemed particularly not work well with 2. So, but I'll let you if you Ghost, if you just put another game in the chat, you don't have to redeem any points. If you want another, I'll get, that's not very fair that I haven't played the game. So just tell me. I'm not sure how it works with 4. No, with 2. I'm just saying, like, I thought it would probably not work so well with 2. That's why I haven't. One of the reasons I haven't played it. I also think it's quite difficult to. Oh, maybe it's not so difficult to get. It does look interesting. I do like a lot of Uwe Rosenberg games. I played quite a bit of Newsfjord, which is not exactly the same, but there's some similarity in the way that, like, you're building buildings. It's similar kind of size board, lots of different buildings that you're putting on. I can very highly recommend Newsfjord. Fantastic game and really great with 2. I'm really trying to find the expansion decks, actually, but they seem very difficult to get at the moment. But I've played that, and it's one of the few games I've actually played solo a few times. So with Tony Boydell and I, we were kind of challenging each other to the same set of buildings and, like, doing kind of solo challenge with each other for a while, and that was quite a bit of fun. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to keep. Yeah. So Womble, feel free to drop another game in the chat. Because that was not really fair that you didn't get a full review of a game you wanted. So feel free to ask another one. But what can I say? I'm enjoying the Battle Royale, so I'm gonna keep going for a little bit. I guess it's kind of like you don't have the same kind of preciseness of. Oh wow, this really looks like I would guess the US maybe, but I think it's either like the US or like Norway or something. Oh, okay, this is going to give it. Birth. I mean, it's English, so like, is it the US? Is that okay? So I guess then my other guess is Canada. Oh, Canada. Okay, interesting. I am actually quite amused as to what this could be. Is it? Oh, it's Sweden, I think. Oh, let me get to Sweden. Oh, it wasn't Sweden. You want me to review my own game? I'm not sure. It was Norway. I thought somebody guessed Norway. Damn, I thought I saw Norway in the. You're seeing how bad I am. Thanks, Robin. You're a little bit late. You're just, or at least the delay on the stream. I only just saw Norway pop up on the thing. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should review my own game, but I enjoy Pyramids. Actually, I'm actually surprised I still see people playing it from time to time. For a game that's it's like 5 years old. No, 4 years old. But it's the style of game I'm quite happy. These kind of like 120 card, 110 cards roughly, and like just that. Brett and I made a series of games to sort of fit into those parameters. And like after publishers have published them, sometimes they change. So the Great City of Rome was also the same. It was just a 110 card game to start with. There's a few games coming out hopefully this year in the same kind of form factor. And I really like games like that. I like games that it's just a deck of cards you can take everywhere. Point Salad is, is really, for those who have seen the stream before, I go on about Point Salad a lot. I think it's a fantastic game. And again, it's just that deck of cards. You can take it anywhere, really portable, easy to play. I love games which are just deck of cards. And like Race to the Galaxy, another one of my favorite games. So that kind of form factor I really like. And I think Pyramids is a really nice, I like the kind of geographical building elements. So Brett, for example, I don't think he plays so much, but he used to play a lot of Carcassonne. It's one of his favorite games. And it's about that building that tableau that you kind of finish the game and you've built something. And so we were always trying to bring that kind of spatial geographic building element into those card games, because you don't always have that. Like a tableau building game sometimes doesn't have much sense of geography or spatial element, like just cards just go in front of you. So we were trying to do that. So like Great City of Rome it's a 4x4 grid of cards. Pyramids, you have the pyramid. With Junk Forts, which is a game hopefully coming out this year, there you have like 2 rows of cards, like an inner and an outer wall of the fort. So we're always kind of interested in that. So yeah, hopefully not a bad 1 minute review. I'm now going to keep checking the thing in the stream manager to make sure I don't miss it. Robin asks, am I good at playing my own designs? Do you mean after they're published or before? Yeah, like you don't mean playtesting, I guess. I'm actually not very good. When you're designing, you just don't get much time to play other games. So like that have been designed by other people. So when I do have time, I really want to try. I don't want to play my own games because I already know how they play. Like I kind of want to experience these other games and I want to learn from these other games that have been released. So I don't necessarily like playing my own games, and it's always a bit of a weird thing. And if you mean like if I'm actually like skillfully, am I good at playing my own games? I'd say yes. I'm probably pretty good at playing them. And I never kind of like go easy on anybody with games. Like I don't change the way I play, which is probably not good because, but like it's good with cooperative games. I think I played Roll for Adventure with Paul Grogan on stream once, and I think it was a good, I could show them a few tricks, that you wouldn't necessarily know from playing it only once or twice. And I think that's kind of fun to be able to share that, because you don't always get to share that kind of thing very often, or to kind of like, it's not showing off, but it's kind of like showing what's possible within the game, which is quite fun. I'm very good at Elysium, I would say. And sort of, it's always a funny point between Brett and I that Brett is really bad at Elysium. It's like on the edge of like, he doesn't like heavy strategic games, and like Elysium isn't heavily strategic, but it's a bit more strategic. And I do, I remember playing him once or twice in playtesting, and then I just wiped the floor with him. But it's a type of game I really enjoy and I really like. So yeah. Robin says, Abandoned Archers, a great little deck constructing game if you want a stocking filler style game. I have to check that out, actually. I will put that on my list. Everything always takes a bit longer to get to the Czech Republic, unfortunately. But I will, and sometimes it's hard to get English copies of things. And I think Abandoned Archers has text on the cards, right? So I'll have to have a look at that. Robin says, generally I'm terrible at my own games. Well, that's not a bad thing. I mean, sometimes you're thinking about other things when you're playing them. Bez asks, do you have to look up your own rules? Sometimes, yeah, definitely for the older games. I remember, I think it was the UK Games Expo last year. No, not last year. Now 2019. I was walking the halls and I saw somebody pulling out Relic Runners, which is my first game, for those who don't know, and that was published in 2013. And I was like, well, it's a bit weird to kind of go up and like, by the way, do you know that I'm the designer of that game in your hands? But I was kind of like, do you want me to teach the game to you? Because I'm, happy to help out, because it looked like they had just got it from the library or something like that. So they're happy for me to teach it, but I did have to have a very quick read over the rules, because that game really has been such a long, like 7 years ago. And like, since I was designing it, it's like 10 years ago. And often I think I find the hardest thing is there are sometimes small changes that happen when it's with the publisher that maybe you didn't make that change, or it was sort of playtesting that you weren't a part of, and that doesn't settle into my mind as much. But generally I'm pretty good with the rules, but it's when something's changed in my own game, often late in the process, I have to check that. Beth says, I took Robin's questions, are you skillful? I don't know if I've played any games against you to comment. No, that's a fair point. So are you generally just good at games, or do you tend to beat Brett at games? We're good at different types of games. I think we like I like strategic special power card games. They're my jam. You know, I've played Magic, I've played Race of the Galaxy. It's not really what Brett's background is. His background's quite different. I'd say I'm generally pretty good at games. I think I'm pretty good at grokking systems. I mean, a lot of that's just experience. I've played a lot of games, and as you play more and more games, you know, you get used to certain ways systems work and like, you know, risk reward, and I guess I'm also quite good at looking at, say, like set collection goals and working out like how to do well at the game, you know, because often you see, I don't know how to describe it. Like you can work out that there's like a goal and there's like a minimum to get that goal, and like how well do you have to do to be kind of like beating the normal rate or something. Like, you know, if you get 1 point per resource at the end, then taking a contract which gives you 3 points per resource is obviously great because you're beating like the normal rate. And that's a really basic example, but I think I'm quite good at working out how to like take advantage, like what are the things that are really worthwhile in a game, because sometimes it can be hard, especially in like a strategic game with lots of different paths to victory, lots of different ways to get points. It can be a bit hard to work out like what is something actually worth. Is it worthwhile trying to do this? Is it worth to invest in something? And maybe partly because of experience, I can kind of pick these things up a bit more quickly. So, but I think a really good example is that like I play games with Treasy, my fiance, a lot. You know, we play it together, and I'll usually win the first couple of games. That's usually because I've played the game. You know, I'm teaching the game. I know it better. I've probably maybe played it once or twice before without Treasy, and now I'm teaching her. So, of course, you know, I have a bit more experience. But or if it's a completely new game, you know, I have that experience to kind of grok it a little bit more quickly. But you know, then Treasy will start beating me, you know, from the second game onwards, or you know, like, and sometimes some games, you know, I won't win past a certain time of us playing. You know, like from the fourth game on, I just don't win anymore. And that's not, you know, I'm playing to the best of my abilities. But you know, I think it's just I have maybe a bit of a better intuition for new games, because a lot of the times when you're playing games, the majority of times you're playing for the first time. Like at least I play in a lot of instances where I'm trying games for the first time. I'm not really part of any group where we play the same game all the time, where it's the kind of different thing. So yeah, I'm maybe advantaged when nobody knows the game, I guess. But that doesn't mean I'm better if everyone's kind of equally experienced or has a lot of experience with a particular game. Yeah, that was a longer answer than I thought. Yeah, I like this. I like this mix of you know, I get my little like you know, it's this kind of like slot machine feeling, which I think is interesting in like these kind of like these like kind of bingo games. I feel like, you know, these kind of like slot machine like things. Okay, so we're in Spain. At least this one's easy. What was I talking about? No, like slot machine. It's this slot machine feeling. I play a lot of Hearthstone Battlegrounds, for example. A lot of people describe that as glorified slot machine, because you just, you know, there's a decent amount of luck, but it's kind of quick enough that you just want to like pull the slot machine again. And I think it's an interesting area of game design at the moment. I think a lot of these kind of like bingo style or roll and write games, they are like with high amount of luck. I don't think anyone's trying to make games addictive, but that is I think that's a powerful emotion to sort of, addiction isn't right, but that kind of like that replayability, that kind of moorishness of a game. I don't know if many people talk about like moorishness of food. You just want to try one more, just one more, just one more. Having that feeling in games, I think, is really important, and like roll and writes do it really well. And yeah, games with that kind of like random input and like, what do I do with that? So like, you know, Tiny Towns, these kind of like bingo style games. And I'm really interested in making more games in that way, because I think it is a really powerful emotion to kind of to lock into with people. And yeah, addiction is much too strong because these games aren't addictive. But it's that feeling of like, oh, I want to see how I do on the next game, because I'm getting a random set of inputs, and it's relatively easy to try different things. And I think that's a really interesting thing to kind of look at in game design at the moment. Okay, there's a sign. That's a good start. But it's... Oh, no. Puente Agosto. I mean... In which direction are the people on the... They're on the right side of the road. I can't tell whether that's Italian. I mean, I would kind of guess Italian, but I don't know. So, any guesses in the chat? Anybody? Anybody? Because it definitely looks Italian, does it not? Am I just not getting something? Oh, wait, what's this sign? Shit. Darn it. I'm really not good at this. Ugh, come on. Why can I not turn around? Caroline Grant. No, yeah, okay. I just hold up. Uruguay. Yeah. Not really good. Have I tried Heaven and Ale? No, I haven't. I've heard. I guess my first, like, I've heard things that it's just kind of another Euro. Like, I think for me, when I read about games, and these are styles of games I like a lot. I like, a kind of medium weight Euros quite a bit. But if I have read the rules and I've seen videos and I don't even remember much about them, I sort of worry about, like just how interesting they are, I guess. Maybe that's bad because I'm obviously just like responding to hype. And if I'm just saying if there isn't enough hype, I'm not interested. Obviously, like it must be a good game because it was nominated for Kennerspiel. Like there's a quality to it. But it's always tricky with those games. I prefer to like try them before I buy them. But maybe I will have a look. Is it good, Ghost Womble? Is it? Have you tried it yourself? I'm writing down all these games because I am actually interested in. I was sort of looking around at getting games. I was looking at like Il Vecchio, which I've never played. It's a really good Dawn game. I like to pick, like if I could pick up games, I guess that are like 5 or 6 years old, especially these kind of Euro games. It's sort of fun to, I like exploring them because I think, like it doesn't matter about how old the game is, right? It can still be really great. This looks like India. I mean, I would guess India, like straight away, but I don't know if it is that. No. Okay. Oh wow, okay, it's a tricky one. Okay, so we're a country that has English speaking. Is it Singapore? No, somebody's guessed Singapore. Like Malaysia or something, maybe? Oh, wow, okay. It's a bit lucky. Do you have a large game selection? If so, do you classify yourself as a collector? As a designer, I find it's important to try a wide variety of games. Yeah, I definitely agree that it's important to try a wide variety of games. I wouldn't really classify myself as a collector. I mean, this year, to be honest, has been the first year where I've really bought a lot of games. Generally, I wouldn't. But, obviously the times being they are, it meant that I wanted to, that I just had more time to play games than I've ever had before. So, usually I don't buy things because I would never have time to play them. Yeah, so that changed this year. So I started to, kind of buy more games. Where are we? Interesting. Okay. Whoops. Just sign there. I mean, interesting. Everything looks so clean. I feel like I'm so close. Oh, France, maybe? Hold on. Then someone's already done Switzerland. Oh, Andorra. Oh, none of us got it. Oh, so it's another. Robin, you can tell me. Is this? Does it look? Does it look? So it's not Norway, but it's Swedish, right? Because it has the thing. No. Is this? It's not Danish. Okay. Oh, maybe it's Iceland. Oh no, wait, was that? No, that was Iceland. So maybe it's Norway. Hey. Yeah, I think I did that wrong in the last. There was one earlier which I get Iceland and Norwegian flags mixed up. Maybe I'll make it. Looks like nobody else has got it so far. Yeah, I'm hoping to go to the Faroe Islands. Actually, we'd planned a trip several years ago and never kind of got there, and we were kind of going to go last year, but of course that didn't happen. We still really like to go to the Faroe Islands. Maybe I've won. Let's see if this other person can get there. Oh no, okay. They got it right. Let's see. Let's see. 1-on-1. Oh gosh. Okay, that's not good. Oops. Okay, I'm just gonna guess China. No. Oh, well, that also kind of looks Japanese, so I will just guess Japan. I win! I feel like it's just, yeah, it's interesting once it gets down to two, like with more players, you want to kind of wait until you see lots of guesses, but when you're only 1-on-1, you want to go as quickly as possible. It's cool mode of the game. Yeah, so I don't count myself as a collector. I bought a lot more games this year, but I'm already kind of feeling like, I think if I feel like it's not a game I can play like 20 times, like sometimes I'll play a game even three or four times, and I feel like that's enough. I've kind of experienced what I have, and I don't feel, if I don't find myself coming back to the game or wanting to play it again, then I've tried it, and then I'm quite happy to sell it on. So I don't want to keep the games, and that's also why I didn't buy a lot of games before, because I prefer to just try them at conventions or with other people who've bought them. But now that I've this year we had more time to play at home, so I thought, well, if this year wasn't, if I wasn't going to try and buy some games this year, then when you would it's the best chance. And I've been really fortunate that Teresa's happy to play games with me. So yeah. And Ghost One will ask, is there a particular mechanic you like to play, i.e. Worker placement cooperative? No, I don't have a particular. I mean, I think I have a soft spot for what I call like special power card games, like Magic the Gathering. Innovation by Carl Schroeder is one of my favorite games. Race of the Galaxy, another one of my favorite games. So these are kind of like strategic games, card combo games. It's not exactly a mechanism, but I personally really enjoy those styles of games. And like Elysium is a good example of me trying to design a game in that kind of vein. So yeah, that's how it is. It's just one more. It's another. I just want to keep pushing the handle on the slot machine. People are showing up probably the stream are wondering, aren't you supposed to be doing game design or something? But no, I just want to play GeoGuessr. Fia Megie. Okay, goodness me. Interesting. I feel like we're in Europe. Like that would be my guess. Like, I feel like somewhere in like the Netherlands or Belgium would be my guess. It's also very flat. No. Interesting. Really flat country. All those people guessing Australia and New Zealand. It's the right side of the road, don't you know? Don't you know? I'm running out of... Okay, I don't really know. Hungary. Okay, I did not. Oh, thank you. Well done, televised. You recognize Hungarian. I did not. Yeah, I've got good. I've got a few experts in the chat. I've got my sort of Eastern European Balkan sort of. I've got Robin, the Nordic expert. I would kind of immediately maybe guess India. But I guess I will wait and just see. Wow. Okay, that was quick. So that makes me think it is India. Because of the fact that so many people got it. No. Oh, Thailand. Okay, right. I will trust you. Here we go. Thailand. Ah. Well done, Robin. Thank you. Well, also Southeast Asia expert. I feel like I should have a look around. Okay, maybe is the Thais are very kind of like curly writing. Yeah, it's probably. Yeah. Swarm intelligence. Yes, we are better as one rather than individuals. I feel like I should update the stream. Oh well, anyway, it's fine. I probably. I said I was going to stop at 2 hours, and now it's 2.5 hours, and yeah. So I don't have a problem. I swear. This will be like my last time. Well, yeah. But yeah, this I'm actually surprised how much this battle. Yeah, it's funny. Like battle royale kind of things in digital modes are now really popular, and but yeah, it really it's like those short, sharp things. And unfortunately, in tabletop games, you can't really do that because you can't. You don't want to knock people out, do you? Because it's not much fun. Okay, oops. Interesting. We're just on a random. Like I would actually guess like New Zealand or something. But where are we? Oh gosh, okay, this is a bit better. No, we're on the right-hand side. Right-hand side of the road. Just have to find me a street sign and I will be fine. Okay, well that's a Swiss. So shall I just go with Switzerland, I guess? .ch is, whoops, that's not where I want to be. Where are you, Switzerland? Hey. Yeah, thanks, Robin, yeah. Got to, yeah. I just had to catch it. It's funny in Google Maps because you know that the Google car is like following the traffic. And it's like if you see a truck, it always you think like, oh, I'll just click up to get up next to that truck. But no, it's moving at the same time as the Google car, so you can like never catch up, and you want to see something on the truck. But I was lucky enough that the truck must have slowed down. Maybe the Google car like overtook it in a fortunate way. Yeah, funny things you kind of pick up over time. I don't know whether I'm getting points for this or if I have some sort of like, yeah, maybe there is like some sort of leaderboard or something. Okay, this is Germany. This is like Cologne, actually, I think. Are we just all going to guess it? Oh. No. Oh, everyone else got it. Wow. So everyone got it as they just knew it was Austria. That's funny. Like, what is that? That's funny. How do you know that that's Austria specifically? Because like I saw the blue U as of the U-Bahn and thought that was, but somehow everyone just knew that was Austria, or is it just automatically Vienna? Interesting. Anyway, okay. Well, I think that will do us. Thank you everyone for hanging around for the extended GeoGuessr stream. But hope you all have a fantastic week. Enjoy the start of the new year, and Happy New Year to everyone again. And I shall be back on Monday, normal time, 5 p.m. European time, 4 p.m. GMT, and hope you're all well. And yeah, maybe we can go and raid somebody. Who shall we raid? We can raid the Brothers Mirth. They're fun, fine folk. They appear to be playing something I don't know, but yeah. So stick around if you like. Otherwise, yeah, have a great weekend, and see you all on Monday. Cool. We'll just prepare. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.